New York Rangers prospect Brett Berard has had quite the good season so far with the Hartford Wolfpack. Really has kind of upped his value as a prospect. So in this video, I'll be giving you guys an update on kind of how Brett has done so far this season with the Hartford Wolfpack in the AHL, as well as kind of talk about the prospect that the Rangers have signed, one of their former draft picks that they ended up signing after his college season ended. I'll be talking about that later in this video as well. Starting off here, though, taking a look at where the Hartford Wolfpack currently sit in the Eastern Conference standings. Right now, they are currently in 8th place with 59 games played, and they have 67 points. The team right above them has 60 games played, 68 points. Right behind them in 9th place, the Belleville Senators, they have 59 games played, so same amount of games played, and the Wolfpack have 2 more points than them. So overall, they're doing all right. They definitely haven't been doing as good as of late and definitely had a much better start to the season than this kind of second half where it definitely has kind of slowed down a lot. There's been quite a few call-ups, though, guys going up and down constantly. I'm sure that's kind of really kind of messed with their line, so I'm sure that's kind of a big reason why they have fallen down in the standings quite a bit, but they're still a solid team. They're not too far back, and most teams right above them, so they definitely have a decent shot at still making the playoffs and potentially going on a decent playoff run with a ton of great New York Rangers prospects. And now taking a look at what Brett Berard has done offensively so far this year in the AHL, he has 59 games played, 23 goals, 18 assists for 41 points. So not too bad there at all. I mean, he's putting up some pretty good numbers. He is actually having one of the better seasons for a rookie in the entire AHL among all players, among all teams. So for rookies, he's doing pretty good down there in the AHL, having a pretty great season. 41 points in 59 games played is not bad at all. And when you consider he's getting most of his points, at 5-on-5 at even strength, even has a couple shorthanded goals there, it is quite nice to see. I mean, this season he's got 2 shorthanded goals, 8 power play goals. So he does have 13 even strength goals at 5-on-5, 2 obviously shorthanded as well. So 15 of his 23 goals are even strength or shorthanded, which is not bad at all. He's also got 8 game-winning goals, which is quite nice. He's overall just having a pretty good season, definitely putting up some pretty good numbers, which is what you want to see for a guy who, last year did kind of have a bit of a down year with Providence College, putting up 36 games played, 10 goals, 14 assists for 24 points. And that may not sound too bad, but when you consider what he did the year before with Providence College, the exact same team, he had 36 games played, 18 goals, 20 assists for 38 points. So he was just over a point per game that year back in 2021, 2022, his second year at the college level. Then his next year, which was last season, 2022, 2023, his last year at Providence, he only had 24 points in 36 games played. So quite a bit under a point per game there. So he obviously took quite a big a step back there, 14 less points in the exact same amount of games played. Not ideal, but then you take a look at this year, obviously had a much better season, putting up some phenomenal numbers in the AHL in his first full year of pro hockey. Last year, he did have 3 games at the end of his college season, playing with the Hartford Wolfpack, didn't put up any points, but just kind of got a taste of pro hockey. This year, obviously, he's had a full season there in the AHL and has put up some great numbers, which is exactly what you want to see out of a young prospect who definitely has a decent amount of potential. I mean, this isn't quite a guy who I think has kind of top-end talent, but he is a pretty solid prospect and definitely could be a pretty good kind of, probably more of a bottom 9, kind of bottom 6 kind of forward at the NHL level. But, being on that third line there, I think could be a pretty kind of perfect third liner. He is only 5'9", 165 pounds, so he is quite small. I mean, he might be a little obviously bigger than that now, but that's what it says, only prospects. But in general, though, he is a smaller guy. Obviously, he'll get stronger and add on some more muscle and stuff. But he's only 21 years old, still didn't turn 22 until September. He's a pretty solid winger, obviously, but he is a former 5th-round pick by the Rangers back in the 2020 NHL draft with pick number 134 overall. But this is a guy who has a pretty good playing style for a kind of third-line role, I think. I mean, in general, he's pretty good scorer. Obviously, he can put the puck in the back, and then he's got 23 goals so far this season. Most of them have come at even strength or shorthanded. He's also a guy who clearly can help out on the PK and can do a pretty good job in that role. He's a pretty energetic guy out there, plays with a bit of a gritty side to him. So he's kind of that guy's going to fly around out there, especially on the PK as well. Can definitely make a pretty good impact because he does have, decent skating, above average skating, what it seems like. And he's just kind of an energetic guy out there, kind of flying around, hitting guys, laying the body, trying to piss the other team off, getting in their head a bit, and stuff like that. While also playing with that bit of a physical side and also having, that bit of an offensive side to him as well. I mean, he definitely can be an offensive threat as well. I mean, he's not going to be some elite offensive threat, but he's a good two-way guy. He can definitely help out in the defensive zone, but also does have that kind of offensive game where he maybe can be a 40-point kind of guy at the NHL level potentially one day, while being that really good kind of two-way, kind of grittier, kind of energetic forward on that third line. I mean, he definitely has a lot of talent. Does he ever hit 40 points? I mean, we'll have to wait and see, obviously, but he does have that kind of talent and definitely does have some pretty good overall kind of game. I mean, his overall game is pretty solid. And I think having these kind of guys in your bottom six is exactly what you want. You want these high motor kind of guys. You want the guys who are energetic, can go out there and kind of change the momentum of a game, throw the body around a bit, play some good defensive hockey, while also being able to contribute offensively is definitely something that's very good. And the New York Rangers have also signed one of their former draft picks from the 2021 NHL draft, who was taken in the 5th round with pick number 144 overall, and that is Jaroslav Chmelar, who was a pretty decent prospect. Not a great one, not an upper tier one, but a solid prospect here. 20 years old, turning 21 this summer. He's a right wing / left wing prospect, right-handed guy, but he is a big 6'5", 220 pounds. Rangers obviously like their big prospects in general. I mean, we have quite a few pretty tall forward prospects and a couple, big 6'8" goaltending prospects. So Rangers clearly have a liking to these big players, and this is another one of those guys. Big 6'5" there, pretty good size. Obviously, is a Czechia-born player, but last season and this one has been playing with the Providence College team there in the NCAA, and last season was actually a teammate of Brett Berard at Providence College as well. And they definitely could both potentially be teammates once again next season in the AHL. But now taking a look at his stats, what he did this season, he had a total of 26 games played, 5 goals, 10 assists for 15 points. Last season with Providence College, when he was a teammate of Brett Berard and he was there, he had 33 games played, 7 goals, 6 assists, 13 points. So did a bit better this year, obviously having 7 less games played, putting up, 2 more points. Had a bit better of a season. Nice to see he took a bit of a progression in the right direction, but he obviously isn't a prospect with a ton of kind of high-end skill, but definitely is a decent prospect and could one day potentially be a solid NHLer. Anyways, so thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please smash the like button. Don't forget to comment down below your thoughts on these two prospects, as well as don't forget to subscribe for daily New York Rangers content.